Hi, in this video we're going to look at plotting quadratic graphs. This is a GCSE higher and foundation topic. It's one of those crossovers that you might find towards the end of the foundation paper, and it could appear on the higher paper too. Actually be looking at doing is plotting graphs that are in this form here. So in the form of y equals something x squared, so there might be a number in front of you x squared, or it might be a negative x squared, plus some number of x, and again that might be positive or negative, or actually might have no x's there and a number at the end, which again could be positive or negative. To do this, we're going to form a table of values. Now, more often than not in an exam you will be given a partially completed table of values, although when I get you to do one at the end of the video I'm going to get you to do that entirely by yourself, although through the examples I'll do partially filled in ones. And finally, we might be able to then see if we can solve an equation, so find estimate solutions to x using our graph. Okay, let's have a look at a first example. A typical format of what an exam style question might look like. It says we're going to plot the graph of y equals x squared minus 3. You can see here that you'll be given a table of values. In this case it's partially completed, and we've been given some graph paper as well, ready to kind of have a go at plotting these points on. Now, what you will find with these quadratic graphs is that there will be some form of symmetry. Now you can see already that the table of values has got some numbers in that repeat on the y values. So when x is minus 3, y is 6. All the way at the other end, when x is 3, y is also 6. You're looking for this symmetry both in your x values and your corresponding y values to make sure that you've done it right. Okay, so that's one thing that I want you to look out for. Something that we're going to have to do is think about what happens when we square negative numbers. This is key to getting the right answer with this. So the first thing we're going to do is think about what happens when we do minus 2 squared. Minus 2 squared is the same as minus 2 times minus 2, which is positive 4. So that gives us 4. What we then need to do is think, okay, in the question we were doing x squared, take away 3. X, to start with, was minus 2, and we've worked out that minus 2 squared is 4. 4 take away 3 is 1. We get an answer of when x is minus 2, y is 1. Now we could, at this point, run straight in and think, well, I've got some symmetry here in my table. I must therefore know that the other one is 1 as well, but I'm just going to double check. So what I need to do is think, okay, so if x is now 2, 2 squared is 4, 4 minus 3 is 1 again. So I'm happy that this is also 1. Okay, I've got a table of values. A table of values is really useful. The table of values is used so that we can work out our coordinates. So from our table, we get coordinates. Our first pair of coordinates are here, minus 3, 6. So I'm going to look at my graph, I'm going to go along to minus 3 and up to 6, which is up here, and I'm going to put a mark. Okay. Next, my next table of the next coordinate I get from my table of values is minus 2, 1. So minus 2 up to 1 is going to be somewhere here. Okay. Next, minus 1, minus 2. So minus 1, minus 2 is down here. 0 minus 3, 1 minus 2, 2, 1, and 3, 6. Now, if you weren't very confident in terms of finding these other values in the table, then there's no reason why you couldn't use the other values that have been given to have a go at plotting the curve anyway. So always have a go at doing this. Okay, what I'm going to do now is have a go at then filling in our graph. We're going to use a nice smooth curve coming down through these points and back up the other side so that it looks something like this. This is a positive x squared graph, although there is no plus sign there. It is positive. We've got positive x squared, and that means we're going to get this nice smiley face, a nice smooth curve, nice smiley face. Okay, first one's completed. Now, what we could also be asked, and we haven't been asked in this question, but what we could also be asked is use this graph to estimate some values. It might say, use the graph to estimate what happens when x squared minus 3 is equal to 2. What that's asking you for is to think, okay, here is when the graph equals 2. I can see I've got 2 points where these intersect. What might those solutions be? And again, we can read off down here, and we could say that we've got 2 extra solutions, or 2 solutions. One looks like it's at about 2.2, and one at minus 2.2. So 2.2 and minus 2.2. Something like that. Okay, so we can use this idea again to be able to do extra work from these questions. This is where the extra marks come from as well. This second question, we have actually been asked to estimate the value of x once we've drawn this out. So this time we've been given some graph paper again. We've got a table of values, again partially completed, and again I'm hoping that already you've looked at this and thought, well, I can see some symmetry going on here. I've got a 2 and a 2, the other side of that a 5 and a 5. Wonder what this 10 might when this 10 might repeat itself. And again, if you're confident, you could just go and put that straight in there, but I'm going to work it out just to make sure. I don't know what this value is going to be, and there's no point in guessing at this point. It could be anything, so let's not worry too much about what that's going to be. Let's work it out. Okay, let's substitute some values in again then. I'm going to go straight away with the minus 1. Now what we're substituting this into is this equation here. Okay, so what I need to do is say when x is minus 1, so I've got minus 1 squared, I'm going to then say x here, so I've got minus 4 times minus 1, so minus 4 times minus 1 plus 5. Now, you more often than not get these questions on your calculator paper. If you put minus 1 squared in your calculator, then you will end up with a number that says minus 1 on your calculator. That's incorrect. Your calculator struggles to do negative numbers squared unless you're quite precise about what you want it to do. You need them in brackets. If you did minus 1 in brackets squared, it will give you the right answer. It will give you 1. Otherwise, what it's doing BODMAS or BIDMAS, whichever way you prefer it, and it's going to do 1 squared because it's doing its powers first, and then assuming that it means minus, so it's assuming it's doing 0 minus 1 squared, which is going to give you minus 1. Now, I say that's incorrect. We have to be really, really careful. Minus 1 times minus 1 is 1. Minus 4 multiplied by minus 1 is plus 4. And then plus 5. Now 1 plus 4 plus 5 is 10, and that's exactly what I was expecting because I've got the symmetry then from the other side. So I'm just going to restate what I've just said there. When we're substituting in a negative number and we're squaring it, we will get a positive solution. Okay, so this will be positive, this bit here. The whole answer might be negative, but this part will always be positive. Any number squared is positive. Okay, I can't stress that enough. That's really, really important. Okay, let's do the next bit then. Let's substitute in 2 for x. So then we have 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 5. 2 squared is 4, minus 8 plus 5. 4 minus 8 is minus 4, plus 5 gives me 1. So the solution I have here is 1. So when x is 2, y is 1. And again, I'm now going to plot these on my graph. So we've got minus 1, 10, which is up here. 0, 5, which is here. 1, 2, which is there. 2, 1. 3, 2. 4, 5, and 5, 10. Again, using a nice smooth curve. If you find it easy, if you're right-handed like I am, it's actually easier to start at the right-hand side because you can see where the dots are. Okay, so we fill in our curve like this. The second part of the question here says, and then estimate the values of x for x squared minus 4x plus 5 equals 3. Okay, so we can find when it equals 3 by drawing a line, straight line across from 3, having a look at our solutions and reading them off down here and down here, and seeing what we get. This looks like 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0.6, and 3.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3.5. Something like that. Okay, maybe a little bit closer to 3.4. But again, we're estimating, and you will be given a little bit of tolerance in the exam as well because of the nature of the curve. Okay, fantastic. So we've been able to plot a graph. We've filled in our table of values. If you weren't confident in filling in your table of values, then you should have already plotted the ones that are given for you. So you could have done these coordinates already and had a really good stab at what this curve is going to look like. You know it's quadratic, you know it's going to be a curve. If you don't get the extra points from your table of values, at least you can get your curves drawn. And that's picking up marks all the way, and that's the name of the game. Okay, what I'd like us to do then is I would like you to have a go at doing this. You'll need some graph paper obviously to do this. I want you to create a table of values for x between -6 and 2. So going up in integers, in whole numbers, I want you to go from -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1 and 2. So a reasonably large table of values. I want you to have a go at plotting this equation. Okay, x squared plus 4x minus 1. And hence estimate the values of when that equation is equal to 3, just like we've seen. So pause the video, grab all your stuff, have a go, and I'll show you the solutions in a second. Okay, so hopefully what you've done is you've got something that looks like this. Okay, just check on yours, the general shape. You need it to be nice and smooth and down here and back up again like this one is, so a nice smooth curve. We don't want to see any flat bits along the bottom. We certainly don't want to see any kinky bits coming down the side. They're not correct, so you don't want anything like that. You want to keep it nice and smooth all the way along like this. Also check that your solutions for when it equals 3 are something down here. So I think that these are going to be around about 0.8 maybe, and this one at about -4.8 I would say is an estimate. We've written them down here, so 0.8 and -4.8 for your solutions. Revision cards. Throughout the series of videos that I've been making, I've done a revision card note at the end. These are the sorts of things that you could copy out onto your revision cards. This is for when we're doing graphs in this form here, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Always start by filling in your table of values. If you've not been given one, draw one out. If you have been given one, fill them in. Look for the symmetry. Take care with negative signs, particularly with your calculator. It will lie to you if you don't put those values in brackets. Remember that a negative value squared is always positive. And then the other things you could use your graph for are to estimate solutions for x. If you want to draw yourself out a quick example of what these graphs look like, this is a positive x squared graph and a negative x squared graph. So if you have minus x squared plus something else, it's going to look something like this. This is a negative. Okay, and again, if you want to add extra annotations to your revision notes, by all means do. Okay, that's it for this video. Good luck with your exams. Keep checking out the videos. Subscribe to the channel so you can see when new ones are coming out, because new ones are coming all the time. I say good luck. Hope everything goes well. And if all else fails, make sure that you do. Certainly with these questions, have a go. Have a go at plotting them. do not have flat bottoms and kinky bits. That's the key to this. Okay, bye.